大家好，今天是2025年12月的上半月，我们来看一下全球人工智能的5则新闻速报。
就在前2天，沉寂已久的深度求索终于迎来了全新的版本 DeepSeek V3.2 正式发布。该模型兼顾了高计算效率、卓越的推理能力以及强悍的智能体性能，在编码能力方面也有不小的升级。目前这次发布的模型总共有2个，分别是 DeepSeek V3.2 还有 DeepSeek V3.2 Special 特别版。现在在官方的网页端还有 APP 以及 API 均已更新为正式版本的 DeepSeek V3.2。这个 Special 版本的模型的话，它已经开于公布的 Hugging Face 上了，以供社区评价和研究。在后面会说一下如何进行本地部署。其实 DeepSeek V3.2 这款模型目标是平衡推理能力和输入长度，像这个日常回答还当各种智能小助手，它都非常合适。在公开的推理测试评分这里面看到，开源 DeepSeek V3.2 Special 模型，无论是 AIME 2025数据竞赛、哈佛和麻省理工高数，还有这个人类水平评测 Code Forces 编程计算水平，它都处于领先地位啊。即使是 DeepSeek V3.2 版本，它已经追赶上了这个 GPT-5 汉这模型，而且跟 Kimi AI 深度思考模型相比， DeepSeek V3.2 模型的输出更加精准、更加干脆，耗费的计算资源也会更少，输入答案也不会等那么久。它的 Special 特殊加强版更是把推理能力拉满，因为它是在 V3.2 的基础之上，又加上了数学证明的特长，所以逻辑推理、严整论证以及指令理解都特别强，性能几乎可以和谷歌 Gemini 3 Pro 版本直接对标。尤其在数学方面，无论是国际数学奥林匹克还是中国的数学奥林匹克，它都是拿金牌的。编程能力也不容小觑，在 ICPC 全球程序设计总决赛中，它已经拿到第2名的成绩。在工具能力方面，它也能一边思考一边使用，因为以前的模型它有个限制，就是一旦进入了深度思考模式，就没法调用外部工具了。但是这次 DeepSeek V3.2 改变这个现状，使得 AI 在进入深度思考模式的同时，还可以调用外部工具，而且无论是正常模式还是深度思考模式都是可以的，它们都可以灵活调用工具，可以帮我们彻底解锁更多的高级功能。同时在 Agent 的智能体相关的测试里， DeepSeek V3.2 已经达到了开源模型的天花板了。在实际的测试里，它的泛化能力会更加可靠。下面要先测试一下它的代码能力。别先把输入这个提示词，就通过 JS 创建一个实体交互的 3D 粒子系统啊。我把这提示词给copy出来，到时候如果你需要的话，那边打着帖子来进行获取这个提示词。好，复制好以后我们贴进来，然后先开启深度思考模式，打开我们点击发送一下，来看效果到底如何。好，大概过了1分钟左右，它已经完成了。我们来看效果到底怎么样。这是它上面提供代码，问题上面有一个运行，看行不行，来试一下。好，应该是可以的。好，为了方便演示，我们接下来把它代码给copy出来，给它下载到本地来进行运行。点上网下载。好，下载好以后，来这边打开它，打开下载以后的文件。好，打开以后，首先我们要开启摄像头权限才可以，否则的话是没法通过摄像头去控制的。打开以后，我们可以通过双手来控制屏幕了。大家试一下。来看一下，立马就可以控制了，可以看一下。喂，哦，放大，哎，像把魔法一样的，喂，可以的哈。你可以用单只手，也可以用双手都可以控制啊。它屏幕上会有一个控制标的，必须看到我们双手才可以啊，不然让双手离开这个摄像头控制区域啊。哎，挺漂亮的啊。哇，我们可以换其他试一下，拉大。爱心放大，哎，这可以的，大家看一下，这效果还是可以的，非常的顺畅。当然，可以继续让它帮你优化代码，来实现更好效果。
Amazon didn't just announce a new chip; they dropped a bomb on the entire AI industry. On stage in Las Vegas, AWS introduced its new Trainium 3 chip and claimed it could deliver more than 4 times the performance of its predecessor, use around 40% less energy, and cut the cost of training and running AI models by up to 50% compared to equivalent NVIDIA GPU systems. It was the boldest claim Amazon had made in years, and for a moment, the entire AI world paused to process it. And what's so shocking is that AWS didn't just talk about improvements. They positioned Trainium 3 as a direct challenge to NVIDIA's decade-long control of the AI compute market. The message couldn't have been clearer. The era of one company supplying nearly 90% of global AI training hardware was beginning to fracture, and Amazon, the world's largest cloud provider, was the one lighting the fuse. The timing of Amazon's announcement could not have been more strategic. NVIDIA had only recently begun shipping its Blackwell B200 GPUs in volume throughout mid-2025, following their original unveiling at GTC 2024 as the successors to the massively popular H100 and H200 lineup. Blackwell was already being hailed as the next era of AI compute, a technological showcase with higher memory, faster bandwidth, tighter interconnects, and an NVLink system that lets 72 GPUs behave like a single supercomputer. Everyone expected Amazon to stay in NVIDIA's shadow. Instead, they walked out with a chip designed specifically to attack NVIDIA's weak spot, the economics of AI. Amazon didn't challenge NVIDIA head-on. Instead, it went after the only battleground NVIDIA cannot afford to lose, the economics of AI. When AWS said Trainium 3 could deliver the same class of AI training at up to half the cost, engineers, investors, and researchers immediately understood the implications. AI companies today spend not just millions, but hundreds of millions of dollars in compute. The largest model training runs now consume so much electricity that entire data centers are built around them. A chip that significantly lowers cost per token is not just another component, it is a structural change in how AI is built. Meanwhile, the broader industry shift makes Amazon's strategy even clearer. OpenAI is no longer relying solely on NVIDIA. It's building custom accelerators with AMD and Broadcom. Meta has its MTIA chips powering large parts of its inference stack. Microsoft is developing the Maya architecture to reduce Azure's dependence on GPUs. Tesla keeps expanding Dojo to serve both autonomy and AI workloads. And Apple has quietly placed neural engines inside every device in its ecosystem. The monopoly era, the period when NVIDIA supplied almost the entire world's AI compute, is fading. What comes next is a multi-chip, multi-cloud, multi-vendor landscape, where no single company controls the future of AI.
就在近日，一款名为智能憨憨的 AI 陪伴玩具在华为商城开售即秒罄，补货多次仍然迅速售罄。这款由华为与洛博智能联合设计的情感陪聊 AI 玩具，售价399元，是华为首款 AI 情绪陪伴产品。在京东平台，3款配色累计售出已超过6500件。AI 玩具赛道正成为科技巨头争相布局的新战场，除华为外，荣耀、京东等企业也纷纷入局。如今 AI 玩具已不再是孩子们的专利，它正悄然占领成年人的情感世界。AI 伙伴不仅能感知用户的情绪，还有强大的长期记忆能力。虽然当前儿童市场仍是 AI 玩具核心战场，产品主要解决双职工家庭陪伴缺失、早期教育个性化不足等痛点，但成人市场增速迅猛，主要满足都市人群的情感疏解与社交补偿需求，技术成本大幅下降，为这波热潮提供了燃料。一位通信芯片行业从业者透露 ，AI 玩具的芯片方案模组成本大概在10几至20元，低成本投入却能带来近10倍的回报，这样的利润空间让各方玩家纷纷涌入。AI 玩具市场正在以惊人的速度扩张。据数据显示，全球智能陪伴市场规模2024年达到281.9亿美元，预计2025年至2030年间复合年增长率高达30.8%。中国 AI 玩具领域的投融资事件正以2倍速加速增长。2025年 AI 玩具市场投融资热度高涨，成为资本追逐的新风口。有96家投资机构开始布局该赛道，字节跳动、联想创投等头部玩家纷纷参与。华为的合作方洛博智能就是资本宠儿之一，今年6月完成数千万人民币的天使轮融资，9月又完成了由红杉中国独家领投的数千万元天使加轮融资，其产品浮载月销已超2万台，渠道预订单突破10万台。传统玩具厂商也在积极转型。奥飞娱乐智能玩具事业部产品总监吕佳宁介绍，该公司一款售价399元的喜羊羊超能铃铛娃娃，在天猫年销量已达120万件。不过 AI 玩具市场繁荣背后暗藏隐忧。美国 PIRG 公共利益研究小组在2025年麻烦在玩具岛报告中指出 ，AI 辅助玩具存在严重安全漏洞。一些 AI 玩具可能提供不适当的内容，如一款名为 Kama 的泰迪熊玩具，因使用露骨性语言和提议进行危险活动而被下架。隐私问题同样令人担忧。AI 玩具通过语音、摄像头、传感器等设备实现交互，这些设备在收集和使用个人信息时，可能引发隐私泄露安全问题。当前的 AI 玩具集成高敏麦克风、广角摄像头、毫米波雷达等传感器，能感知儿童的呼吸频率、记录对话内容，甚至分析情绪变化。当然，产品同质化现象也日趋严重。不少 AI 玩具在产品设计上趋同，交互体验缺乏自然感与情感温度，甚至频繁出现误识别、反应迟滞等问题，严重影响用户使用感受。有用户吐槽某些 AI 玩具交互复杂、智商不够 ，AI 未重，体验方面仍有不小优化空间。面对挑战 ，AI 玩具企业正在寻找突破之道。 更人性化的交互、更具个性化的 IP 以及更多元的商业模式，成为未来竞争力关键。有业内人士指出 ，AI 交互将很快从卖点变成标配，潮玩产品需要从个性化 IP 和人性化交互中脱颖而出。
Why is Elon Musk saying the EU should be abolished, and why does it suddenly feel less outrageous when you look at what they've just done? So let's have a little chat about the €120 million fine that has turned into a global political punch, and the part nobody in Westminster wants to mention. Because when a bloc nobody voted for can punish a platform used by hundreds of millions, the question writes itself. Who exactly is in charge here? According to reports, the EU has hit X with a €120 million penalty under the Digital Services Act, essentially accusing the platform of being misleading with its blue ticks, not transparent enough with advertisers, and not giving researchers enough access to data. Critics argue the punishment isn't really about those technicalities. It's about the EU flexing power. And Musk clearly agrees, because he's now saying the EU should be abolished and sovereignty handed back to nation states. Whether you like him or not, that's a nuclear-level statement. But here's where it gets even more political. Trump's administration instantly backed him. Officials said the EU is undermining free expression, undermining US companies, and even undermining American sovereignty. One senior figure went as far as suggesting the US should rethink its role in European defense if Brussels keeps undermining the West's biggest tech firms. You're basically watching a transatlantic row over who controls online speech and who gets to police the biggest digital platforms on Earth. Then Poland's PM jumps in, telling America that Europe is its closest ally. Meanwhile, EU critics like Geert Wilders are calling the Commission unelected and authoritarian. And in Britain, Labour figures like David Lammy are publicly floating the idea of rejoining parts of the EU system, right as this entire drama is blowing up. So the timing could not be worse or even more revealing, because the takeaway is simple. The EU wants more control over digital information, Washington wants less, and Britain, stuck in the middle, has leaders who seem desperate, just as both superpowers are tearing into it. And that's why this story matters. Not because of Musk's ego, but because it shows exactly why people worry about supranational influence. If an unelected body can fine individuals and dictate speech rules for the entire continent, imagine what happens if Britain hands back even a slice of sovereignty. So what do you think? Is Musk being a bit dramatic, or is the EU showing exactly why so many people walked away from it?
I think that the generation time for models has been really, really fast. At least to me, it feels fast. And I think that's basically going to continue. So I think that we should expect a new generation of Claude models in not too long, certainly in the next 6 months or so.
Right.
And I think that basically that's going to continue. And it's both because we're improving sort of post-training or reinforcement learning, training Claude on more tasks, and because I think we're able to improve the efficiency and intelligence from pre-training. So I think that's not slowing down anytime soon. I think in some ways the model cycle is even faster than the hardware cycle. We'll see if the hardware cycle is really 1 year, but it's definitely moving quickly, and we're getting new chips